guys, welcome back. In today's video, we are talking about AMC ready to squeeze, the AMC floor price, $4,000 and more, and many more in this video. First, we take a look at this. Breaking, GameStop and AMC adds over $1 billion to US market at open. So this was only talking about when AMC was up 8% for the day. Now, if you take a look at where AMC did end up, we were up 23% for the day. So this is what we talked about with how we are seeing the shorts crumbling down. We talked about recently with the liquidity problems the shorts are having. We talked about how some short sellers have actually flipped long. And so this is obviously the result of that. Now, when you take a look at past data and talk about what is happening and what is showing, well, you can see AMC now versus 2021. So we're obviously taking a look at the two charts, and you can see where we are, of course, actually lining up in comparison to before. Before AMC had its massive run, we were in that similar area where we've shown where obviously the 200 SMA, if you want to take a look at, where we've shown where the resistance was, and obviously before the price took out. And now when we take a look at the similarity, we are in that position again. And so this is always some things that I've always said in terms of past data will show you a lot about what's going to happen. So if in the past we were able to get something like this, you can obviously understand what's happening right now. Obviously, there have to be more things to be paired up with because they understand that the situation now is even bigger than before. Remember, we can run up all the way to $700 in the past. We're going to run it up even higher this time because there's been more FTDs, there's been more synthetics, there's been more tokenizations of AMC, to the fact that this is obviously going to go even higher. And that's why they need to suppress it even more. But I think the very fact that we are lining up like we have in the past is obviously a very good indication already. Now you can take a look at this. I have no idea where AMC flow comes from and how it relates to AMC's future all-time high. But all things considered, it seems perfectly reasonable. What I do know is that no one will shake AMC apes out of pennies. Now, this is talking about the AMCfloor.com where you can see the floor price. Now, I want to clarify is that the AMC floor price, the price that is given on that website, has been clarified that it has not been based off of anything factual. There hasn't been an algorithm, there hasn't been a calculation come together where it says that it should be X price, but it's based off of sentiment, it's based off of everything that we have seen, the dark pool, the FTDs, all of these things that they have used to suppress AMC and for them to obviously give an estimate. So there is no actual data in terms of that has come together to give a conclusion of the price. But nevertheless, what I do believe is that it does give a somewhat correct representation of what people are obviously willing to sell at. When you understand everything that AMC has obviously gone through, when you understand that we've gone through years of regulations helping out the institutions and not us, years of constant spoofing on AMC, years of tokens being used to locate AMC shares, years of synthetic shares being created, and the list goes on and on and on, we know that we deserve a way higher price for AMC. We understand that AMC should be in the thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. Now, as always, everyone obviously has a different range for what their floor price is. And I'm not here to tell you where you should sell, where you shouldn't sell. But one thing I do believe is that people are obviously going to hold on to the AMC for only a price that's worth willing. And that's going to be something that is, of course, not penny. It's not going to be $4. It's not going to be $5. It's not going to be $6. I don't believe that anyone, or at least in my opinion, I don't think that anyone is willing to sell their AMC shares for anything, and I'm only giving this out for any less than 3 digits. Most of the people I have seen have obviously said thousands and tens of thousands or above. Like I said, this isn't telling you where you should sell or not. This is just saying what the sentiment of AMC has been, what the apes have been saying, and that's why the shorts are afraid. That's why the shorts wants to suppress us, because they understand when they need to buy AMC back, they can't do so at $100. They can't do so at $500. They can maybe buy back a small proportion at $1,000, maybe another bit more at $5,000. But at that point, they are obviously spending hundreds of billions of dollars to obviously buy it back. And you have to understand this, we never sold. OBV doesn't lie. And this is the biggest reason for why I know that the price now is obviously going to be even higher. You can see when AMC first ran to its all-time high where the OBV is, and you can see throughout this year, despite the price dropping, the OBV hasn't changed. So we still have the same amount of buyers in AMC as we did when it made its all-time high. Now, what does that tell you? Well, it tells you when we get the real price discovery, when we get the shorts actually collapsing and we're getting the short squeeze, it's going to go way higher than it was. And I do believe that what we saw at the very start, when the price first made the all-time high, was not even a full squeeze. It was only the beginning, but it was quickly stopped by, of course, removing the buy button and such. And so when we do get the opportunity for AMC to squeeze, 100% believe that we will go way above what all-time high we've had in the past, when you consider the fact that the AMC investors, the AMC apes, the AMC buyers have been in this from the very, very start. And you can see the short sellers are doing everything in their power to try and hold AMC from breaking $4 today. But craps are appearing $40, $400, $4,000, $400,000 per AMC theater share is on the way, in my opinion. Now, this is what we talked about, and you can see the suppression that's happening. We've just closed above $4.01. We always talked about how these 1 cent are obviously very significant. The very fact we are able to close above a whole dollar, what that means sentimentally and psychologically for AMC. Now, one big thing is that we knew that there were short cost basis around these areas. So as we're seeing the price go up, we're already seeing how some short sellers are facing a stress in their liquidity, facing a stress in their capital. And remember, the cracks are appearing. And once it fully collapses, once we fully break the wall, we are going to be seeing AMC go all the way up to $40, to $400, to $4,000, and even $400,000. Now, like I said, none of this is ever financial advice, so do take it as a grain of salt. Make sure you do your own due diligence and research. But this is what we talked about with how these shorts are going to pay. And you have to understand, right now, maybe some people are getting excited, and perhaps we should, because we're up 23% for the day. And I've said is that until we get true price discovery, seeing 20% every day is very, very normal, because we're not even including a squeeze. But you also have to understand is that still early days, and there are still several plays that will rise. All those spoofed and shorted by Citadel, Virtue, Goldman. Exciting times for retail. Very hard for them to keep multiple volatile stocks pinned down, especially the big two, but many others too, they are stretched thin. So this 20% isn't going to be the first to see, isn't going to be the very last to see as well. We are going to be continuously seeing this. The reason why I say this is because just like we've seen here, they have been spoofing and shorting AMC for a very long time, and it isn't going to get recovered just by a 20% increase. When we slowly see these short shares being covered and they're getting bought back, we're going to be seeing 20% to be a very normal day. We're going to continuously seeing that go up. And remember, the focus is on AMC and GME right now, because obviously these are the big two, is where they've allocated most of their resources into suppressing us, into suppressing obviously the short squeeze. But it's into consideration as well is that they obviously are trying to suppress other stocks like we've seen in the past. And again, they are stretched thin. Now, this is a problem for them because they are already in a position where they are stretched thin just by AMC and GME. Now, on top of that, they have liquidity problems in which they are facing from other areas as well. And then even on top of that, what they're doing is that they're trying to suppress other stocks on top of the liquidity problems they're having, on top of suppressing AMC and GME. And so you can see how shorts aren't able to just fully allocate their resources into just one particular stock, let alone AMC and GME. And now that's obviously going to be a very, very big problem, because this is why we are seeing AMC go up 20%. Because once they can't keep AMC from reflecting its real price, then we're going to be seeing how the fundamentals AMC has been showing deserves to be a high price. And you can even take a look at this. Finally, it will appear that our industry has turned a corner. A record-setting Memorial Day holiday is yet another sign of the continued strength and relevance of movie going in 2025. We firmly expect to be enjoying a robust theatrical box office as we look ahead. And so this is just to talk about how fundamentally we have put ourselves very, very far ahead. We have put ourselves in a very good position. And while, like I said, AMC is showing, even with true price discovery, we deserve to be at least in the hundreds. Anyway guys, thanks for watching the video. I'll catch you guys next time.